Davis,
Your date of birth?
9154.
My name is Maria Torres. What branch of the military you were in?
I was in the United States Marine Corps.
Where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in Jupiter, Florida.
What was your family background?
My father retired as captain of the Riviera Beach Police Force, and my grandmother was a renowned cook and care and Christian in the community.
What was your current occupation?
My current occupation, I'm a retired jet engine assembly technician from Pratt & Whitney.
At the time of the war, were you in a relationship, married, or single?
I was single.
Are you currently married?
No.
Did you have any children? Oh, I can't accept. Where did you live or work during the war?
I lived in San Diego during my basic training period. That's MCRD, we call it, Marine Corps Recruit Depot. I stayed in Oceanside, California when I was on Camp Pendleton, and I resided in Jacksonville, North Carolina when I was on Camp Lejeune.
What was your main wartime activity?
I was an optional communications operator and field wireman. I also did duty as an honor guard while being assigned to Special Forces Base Special Forces.
What kind of training were you given?
A variety. I did pole climbing, sniping, espionage, field warfare, logistics, your basics of mountain climbing and survival.
What was your title?
Lance Corporal.
What kind of activities did you perform?
I was the first black Marine to be assigned as base communications operator on Camp Lejeune. I controlled communications to all air, ground, and land travel across the base.
Who was your supervisor?
Lieutenant Thompson from the 8th Combat.
What did you like and dislike about it?
I disliked the conflict. You had what was termed as all Marines were green, and it was not always so. We had racial undertones, and other than that, I loved for it and would suggest it.
What do you mean by the word green?
The uniform.
What special rules or convictions did you have to follow?
Basic orders of life. Live, let live.
With whom did you work with?
Guys that had joined from all over the United States.
Did you develop friendships during this training or activities itself?
Yes.
If who?
I have a particular memory for Charles Calls from Chicago, and I went in from here on the buddy program, so I had like 5 guys from here that went in along with me. So we had a home camaraderie situation.
Did you have family and friends in the service or doing war work?
Yes, the same friends.
Okay.
No family.
Did you live with family, friends, or co-workers?
No, I stayed on base at all my stations.
In what ways did the war change your activities or habits?
I became more disciplined. I learned to respect others' feelings and beliefs, and understand that war is sometimes necessary.
What war were you in?
The Vietnam.
Were you or others in your community trained differently because of your gender, race, or factors?
No.
What were some of the first changes in your life after the war started?
Staying on alert that your life would be pretty much online 24 hours a day, that you might be sent into active live combat. was stressing.
What different responsibilities did you have to take on?
I served on Honor Guard, and we buried our dead and greeted dignitaries and politicians coming to base and guided facilities.
How did you entertain yourself outside of work?
Bowling, basketball. I played on the base basketball team. I boxed. I had the fortune of training with two of our former ex-heavyweight champions, Leon and Michael Spinks. I trained with them personally, and that was joy.
How did you entertain yourself outside of work?
Fishing and hunting, and I carry that to this day. I love to hunt and fish.
Tell me about corresponding via letters or otherwise with friends or family in service.
Okay, you mean in terms of communicating with me? Okay, I had a solid communications line with my grandmother who raised me, and my aunts and cousins. They all wrote me on a regular basis.
Did you know anyone who was killed or wounded in the war?
No.
Since you were a Marine, you were enlisted, correct?
Yes.
Where were you living at the time?
Riviera Beach, Florida.
Did you like it there?
I loved it. I still reside there.
Why did you join?
My country was losing a war, and I thought I could make a difference.
Why did you pick the service branch you joined?
They were to be the best. I wanted to be a part of the best.
Do you recall your first days in service?
Yes, I was assigned to MCRD San Diego for my basic training, and it was a challenge. They make you feel like you're nothing. They cut your hair off, and they take away all of your clothing. They give you everything, and you start training, and you later learn that the training is to make you strong in case you become a prisoner of war, that you can hold down and not give up secrets. And it's a rigorous training to put you in peak physical condition, mental condition, and prepare you for war. It teach you how to fight, shoot. Yeah.
What did it feel like?
It was a challenge. I felt escalated at the end of it. I felt really good. I was confident that I could perform my duties under stress without problems.
Did you feel like you wanted to give up sometime?
No. No.
Tell me about your boot camp and training experiences.
I did have a time out in San Diego where I was determined to set the training record, and I set a pace too fast for myself in the 3-mile run, and I had a mild heart attack, and I ended up having to walk the finish to the finish line, and that was about my most disappointing time in the service. Other than that, it was good for me, and I'm thankful for it to this day.
Do you remember your instructors?
Yes, a couple of them I do. Sergeant Banks happened to be a boxer. I'm fond of boxing, and he was San Diego's light heavyweight champion, I believe it was. And we had Sergeant Maribal that were impressive. They had done time in the war and had come home, and they instilled values in us that made us ready to go to war also.
How did you get through it?
By faith in the strength of my grandmother. My grandmother raised me, and she was a strong woman. She taught me that if someone else can, that I can.
Which wars did you serve in?
The Vietnam War.
Where exactly did you go?
I went. I stayed stateside. I didn't actually have to go to live combat. I was assigned from San Diego to Camp Pendleton, where I did my initial communications training, and from there I went to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, and completed my training.
Do you remember arriving and what is it like?
Is that you referring to basic training?
Yes.
It was scary because I was young and I had never been away from home, and I was not really prepared for the way that they came on to you. It was like they were the enemy and bullying you. I wasn't used to that, but it was all part of the training. Yeah.
How did you feel?
I felt betrayed in a sense. I didn't anticipate the antagonism and such. It's just like attacking you. But it's, like I say, later you learn that it's all training. It's to build your mind, build your will.
What was your job or assignment, to be specific?
As base communicator, I ended up being base communicator on Camp Lejeune, and I controlled all of the ground, air, and land travel across the base. I communicated firing ranges, going hot or cold, which is being able to shoot and when to cease fire, and detailing range cleanups and talking to ships going through the intercoastal and helicopters and airplanes crossing the base. Yeah.
Did you see combat?
No, I didn't have to go to combat.
Were there many casualties in your unit?
We did have one situation that I'm not sure that it's okay for me to talk about to this day. There was a mission to rescue prisoners in Saudi that went awry.
Tell me about a couple of your most memorable experiences.
One would be meeting the Leon and Michael Spinks and actually pumping them that if they respected their craft and practice, that they had the potentials to become and did heavyweight champions of the world. And the honor guard duty impressed me with life, gave me a better respect for life when we had to bury our dead.
Were you a prisoner of war?
No.
Tell me about your experiences in captivity and when freed.
Say that again.
Tell me about your experiences in captivity and when freed.
Oh, I was...
My bad. How many years were you in the service?
I was in the service for 3 years.
Were you rewarded any medals or citations?
Yes, I earned the National Defense Medal. I was a rifle expert, marksman, and a sharpshooter with a pistol.
How did you stay in touch with your family?
By letter, and I would make it a point to call every 2 weeks and communicate with my grandmother, aunt, uncles, cousins.
What was the food like?
Food was great.
Did you have plenty of supplies?
Yes, all of my needs were fulfilled. Didn't need for anything.
And about the food, what type of food was it?
a full array. It was like a smorgasbord, and the same rule applied. You can get all you want, just eat all you get. But we had a vast variety, everything from pork chops to steaks.
Did you feel pressure or stress?
Yes, yes.
What?
That was caused by knowing that on any given day you might be called to active combat.
Was there something special you did for good luck?
Pray every day, several times a day. Keep faith in God.
How did people entertain themselves?
We attended clubs. We had hobbies, like mine was fishing and hunting. I would go fishing and hunting, bowling, play basketball, box, wrestling. We have ranges where you can practice your marksmanship. They have an array of things, and they had intramurals, football, softball teams. There's always something to do.
Were there any entertainers like celebrities or anything to entertain?
Not while I was on duty. We just had our clubs and DJs. And off base, you could go to clubs, and we had like bands up here, the OJs. I got to see the OJs and Stevie Wonder and that such.
What did you do when on leave?
I would come home and absorb the moment. It was refreshing to be from under the pressure for a while.
Where did you travel while in service?
California, North Carolina, and that was it, and back home.
Do you recall any particularly humorous or unusual events?
Yes, we had an incident at the 74th Super Bowl where a guy got bugged out about his team winning, and actually ran through a window from the second floor, and he fell and he got right up, and that we couldn't do anything but laugh about it.
While you were in service, did you ever pull pranks on anyone?
No, not.
Do you have photographs?
Yes, I have photographs of my basic training graduation.
Who were the people in the photographs?
My whole platoon and myself as individual photographs and ones of my platoon.
What did you think of the officers or fellow soldiers?
I was impressed. All of those that made it proved to be great guys.
Did you keep a personal diary, like of memories or anything?
No, I kept in contact. I took names. I had a legal pad full of names and addresses of guys I met all over the United States. And I was hoping one day I'd get to maybe visit all of them.
Do you recall the day your service ended?
Yes, without a doubt, yes.
What was the date?
28th of February, 1975. I was supposed to have left the 3rd of March, but because it fell on a weekend and February has only 28 days, I was released a couple of days early.
What did you do in the days and weeks afterward?
I was caught with whether or not to go north or south because I discharged from North Carolina, Camp Lejeune in North Carolina, and I didn't know if I wanted to go visit relatives north in New York or Philadelphia or come back to Florida. And I had it in my heart to explore, travel, but I ended up coming home.
Did you make any close friendships while in service?
Yes, yes. I had one very special relationship I made, and that was with Charles Coles from Chicago, Illinois. He was really a fantastic guy. He reminded me a lot of my grandmother and father combined. He was really super.
Do you still continue those close relationships?
No, no. I had someone break into my vehicle and steal that legal pad that I had the names of all the guys I met on, and that ripped me. I lost contact.
Did you join a veterans organization?
No.
What did you go on to do as a career after the war?
I fell in love with cars while I was working on cars, doing auto mechanics, and we had what was called a hobby shop. It's a lot like our North Technical Institute used to be. They teach you arts and crafts. The idea of it was to give servicemen something to do to keep them on base, keep you from necessarily having to go off base. And I fell in love with working on cars, and he suggested to me, the sergeant that was in charge of it, that with the passion I showed about it, that I should get certified, and I might fall back on it sometime. I never knew, and it turned out that he was correct. That was my mainstay. I'm a certified auto mechanic, and from there I went into jet engine theory and working at Pratt as a jet tech.
Tell me more about your job and your assignment.
Okay, I built jet engines at Pratt & Whitney for experimental testing. You know, that was exciting. Jet engines are exciting. Yeah, they're a step above automobiles. The only difference is that with a jet engine, it tells you exactly what's wrong with it, whereas with an automobile, it has multiple symptoms. You have to be able to pick particulars and come up with just what's wrong with an automobile. But a jet engine is a precise instrument. It tells you what's wrong with it, and you repair it.
For how long did you do this job?
I worked there for 3 years.
Did your military experience influence your thinking about war or about the military in general?
Yes, it did. Like I said, I was trapped between the Bible and man's way, and I thought war to a great extent was wrong, that we couldn't find a means to things without having to kill one another. But I learned through my tour of duty that sometimes the war is necessary.
Do you attend reunions?
No.
How did your service and experiences affect your life?
Well, it taught me self-confidence and discipline, and those are majors in being able to go on in life and perform on a job and coexist with others. Yeah, teaches you camaraderie.
Is there anything else you would like to add that we haven't covered in this interview?
Yeah, except if I had to do it all over again, I would. And I suggest, because it was a great start for me, that anyone that's looking to get trained and educational benefits and learn a life lesson of associating with others, the commonness of things, and other people, and living with other people, and the medical benefits and such as after you discharge, it's fantastic. You can't get a bit better start.
Well, thank you for sharing your personal experiences and all that has happened in your life during the war and after. My name is Shantriana Williams.
Nice to meet you, Sean.
Have you persuaded any other fellow people to recruit in the war?
Yes, yes. I actually had 3 of my good friends go in after the initial four of us went in initially. And after I came home from basic training, I was able to sway 3 more of my friends into joining.
What effect did the war have on your physical and mental health over that of others you knew?
Now, myself, when I came home, it took me a long time to be able to just simply lay down and go to sleep and wake up. I would wake up at any loud nor sharp, the drop of a needle, as the term, would wake me. I stayed on edge for a long time. That lasted with me for about a year.
Do you think that the medical care changed because of the war?
No.
Do you have worthwhile experiences because of the war?
Yes.
What was your most memorable experience?
I would have to say being assigned as Blackburn, having my communication skill recognized and being assigned as Blackburn, which was the call sign for the base communicator for Camp Lejeune.
Have you visited any murals or participated in any commemorations of the war?
No.
Was there a lack of social opportunities and friends because of the war?
No. I did get separated from most of, you mean like my classmates and such. When I came home, everybody had pretty much gone their separate ways, and it took me a while to get back in the groove of things at home.
How did your community respond to the war in the civil defense or other front in the initiative?
The most were against war, on the fact that you got to take another's life to settle the conflict. And most wars are fought by ground soldiers. And we didn't like, per se, going to war, but we all were patriotic, and we felt that if we had to, we would. And myself, I just felt that I could make a difference, so I joined the Marines rather than wait to be enlisted.
Did child care activities change from others?
Say again.
Did child care activities change from others?
No.
Tell me about shortages and rationing of food and gas.
Yeah, after the war,
Yes.
I didn't have a problem with that at all.
What effect did the war have on the physical or mental health?
I was a better person after the war. I was a bit stressed out, but I was a better person. Yeah.
Did you think it was right for Americans to be at war?
Yes and no.
What did you think about the enemy?
I thought that they were a threat to world peace, and that we were trying to maintain world peace, and we were forced to war with them.
How did you feel about the war news from television?
I felt that at the time that a lot of it was not covered, that the public was left ignorant of a lot of the realities of it. Yeah.
How did you feel about anti-war?
I don't believe that's the way to address your feelings against it. Yeah, that's, I don't believe in that. I believe in diplomacy. You have those in places that handle your regrets and such as that you don't actually just go out and start what is almost like a riot, you know, because you don't believe in it.
Did you trust and support American civilian and military leaders?
Yes.
Did you change your views over the span of the war?
Only slightly, because we were the first fighting force that lost in a conflict. We lost in Vietnam, and I felt that we didn't get the necessary support to become victorious.
How did you feel when the war ended?
I was glad. I was glad. We had a lot of lives lost, and I was glad that it was finally over.
What did you do when you heard the news?
I was disgusted. I went to the bar, really. Yeah, I went to the bar and drowned my sorrows. I was really upset.
How did you describe the ways the war changed your life and those of others?
Well, it prepared me to come home and get into the job market by strengthening my basic values, made me more disciplined.
Did you keep your job or continue other wartime activities after the war?
Yes.
Is there one thought about your wartime experience that you want to share with the future generation?
Yes, that if duty calls, do not hesitate. War can be necessary sometimes.
Is there anything else I should ask you?
I think you pretty much got it.
Is there anything that you would like to add on this subject?
Yes, I suggest that if you don't gain a scholarship and such as that, the military is a good start. You get to train, you get to build yourself as a person, and you get opportunities to go and travel and see and greet other people. Yeah.
Thank you for interviewing, for sharing recollections.